We're back with album review, or this week it's soundtrack review.
Album review, soundtrack review. I mean, I listened to the Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies soundtrack album so I'd say album review.
Yeah, well, so again, context is gonna be a little weird this week because it's a video game soundtrack. So I guess what were these songs used for?
All of the songs we're gonna do today are not the Black Ops soundtrack. Which, by the way, I have to say, the fact that this game has two separate soundtracks for both, not only the zombies mode, but also the campaign, is kind of crazy. And also, I gotta say, campaign soundtrack, also pretty good. There's some pretty good
Could come back to that one another day, too.
I mean, like, you had, and then there was songs on there that were licensed songs. Like, you literally get, pretty sure you get Sympathy for the Devil in one of the missions.
Yeah.
Like,
and Fortunate Son plays,
it has to.
Yeah,
because you're in Vietnam.
It's a military game.
It's Vietnam, you know?
But the Zombies mode, this is all original stuff, which is what we do for soundtracks.
Is all original music made exclusively for the Zombies. And I will say, it is a little harder to review this one, because a lot of these tracks are from Dead Ops Arcade.
Yeah.
Which are mostly instrumental tracks, which it's not that I don't have things to say about them, it's their instrumental. And a lot of, you know...
It really just depends on preference.
This has always been my problem with doing a soundtrack of a video game. Like, when we did Metal Gear Rising, all of those songs had lyrics to go along with the music. So it's a little easier to review, and we can talk about more things. But I think with this one, there's some key songs to talk about.
There's definitely the big ones.
Most of it is Dead Ops Arcade, but I think, let me pull the thing up, because I'm unprofessional.
And the thing about a video game soundtrack, I feel like the main thing of it is it goes along with the game very well. It sets the mood very well. So it's hard. It is hard to kind of...
Yeah. But I was going to say, we have the main three people that worked on this album. Kevin Sherwood, who I'm pretty sure did pretty much most of the mixing.
And instrumentals.
And he made all the songs. He has a hand in pretty much all these songs. There's James McCauley, whatever the fuck you say his name. McCauley?
Yeah, James McCauley and Brian Toohey.
Yeah, they also pretty heavy-handed in this song. And the main singer for most of the songs, Alana Siegman.
Oh man, she's awesome.
She is fantastic on the album. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Let's start with the first sound. The first song on the soundtrack, "Damned," which is
probably the most recognizable song.
Isn't it what plays when you go into the menu?
It's literally the menu.
The menu music.
Everybody's heard it, and at this point, it's also become a TikTok sound. At this point.
Like it's a meme.
It is the song. It's the. It's got that same feeling of like, oh shit, like that's
something
bad's happening.
Like there's a sense of dread when you hear that.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to rate this too and talk about this because I have a lot of nostalgia for Call of Duty Zombies.
It absolutely is nostalgia driven for me and my opinions on some of this, and I'm gonna say that right now. So I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah. But if you've played the games, you understand what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting having you on here because you did not play them much.
Yeah, I didn't actually have Black Ops myself as a kid, so the only time I was playing it was when I was at a friend's house. So I didn't have a ton of time just hearing these songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I kind of am reviewing this just based on the songs themselves, so it's a little different. But
the irony is that most of the songs with Elena on them, they're from World at War, not Black Ops 1.
But a lot of these songs are actually not even from this one.
Yeah, at least the main songs, not the instrumentals.
Yeah.
So what's next?
The next one is Lullaby of a Dead Man.
Man, that one, I love that song.
This is the first Alana Siegman song on the album.
And this one's a nice slower one. It's got a nice rockin' sound. This
riff is iconic. If you play Zombies, it plays when you die sometimes.
Yeah, in some of the older maps.
Yeah, it is a classic song. I think the lyrics are great. It is the Zombies soundtrack wanted to have this heavy metal fucking sound.
Yeah,
but they also wanted it to be kind of atmospheric at the same time.
Yeah.
Where it's trying to like kind of haunted sound,
Yeah.
very like fucking. And I love it, and that's the same thing I'll say about some of the later
Yeah,
songs.
this song
the other
was the
ones.
Easter egg song on the Zombies map Verrückt from World at War,
Yeah.
by the way.
Alana Siegman, her voice is
She has such
so
an amazing
great
range, too.
for metal. Like, it is such a good... Because she can go from that metal fucking scream straight into, like, a beautiful, almost ballad
Yeah.
in a song, and it's kind of crazy.
Which is touched on a lot on the Black Ops 1 Easter egg songs.
Yeah.
Shows her range even better, but we can't talk about those today because they're not on the soundtrack. But what's next?
Abra Macabra, and it's the first Dead Ops Arcade song.
Yeah, this one's cool.
I like this one, but I will say the next one is probably my favorite Dead Ops Arcade track.
Slight Chance of Zombies.
Slight Chance of Zombies goes hard. It is an example of, I think, probably the best Dead Ops Arcade track because it's fast. It's trying to get that same metal energy, but in that 8-bit sound.
They do a great job.
And they do
of
a
that,
really
too.
good job with it. And after that, it's The One, which is the next Alana Siegman song.
This was the Shino Numa Easter egg track.
This one is a little bit more. It's a little slower.
Yeah.
It's not as heavy as the other ones, which I think is done on purpose because the map itself is a little slower and a little more.
Yeah.
It's a little more closed off and like
Yeah.
you know. I think they make these songs to go perfectly with whatever map they put them in.
Oh, definitely.
And that was the best part about like hearing these songs in game is because you actually had to hunt to start the song.
Mhm.
Like you had to. There was an Easter egg you had to do to make the song play, and that was always the funnest part.
There's a
about it,
reward
yeah.
for doing all
Yeah.
that. You get to hear
And
some
you get to hear
badass
these
songs.
really cool, like personally made songs tailored to the map you're playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would definitely make them more memorable too. Because
Yeah.
you go through all that and then hear the song at the end, you're like, oh yeah, I remember when I had to do all that.
Yeah.
After that, it's Death on the Dance Floor. It's another Dead Ops Arcade song.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice grooving one.
we
Doesn't
get
this
our
one, like have some techno like elements to
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
A lot of them are very techno, with some rock kind of infused into it.
Yeah.
Which is like metal infused into it. After that is Beauty of Annihilation.
One of the most popular songs.
The third Alana Siegman song on the
The
track.
Doris track.
It might be my favorite.
It's definitely one of my favorites.
I think it might be my favorite song on the album in total, and it might be my favorite Alana Siegman track.
Definitely one of the best.
I think, I don't know. I think this one, and this one also shows her range a little bit more.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more screaming on this one.
Yeah.
She goes a little higher and stuff. I really like this track. After that is Raining Teddy Bears.
This is one of my favorite Dead Ops
I
tracks.
also really like Raining Teddy Bears. I think it's probably one of the better.
This one's
Dead
always
Ops
been one of my
songs.
favorites since I was a kid.
Yeah. Like I said, it's between this one and Slight Chance of Zombies for my
Yeah.
favorite Dead Ops track.
For sure.
After that, we get like a couple in a row where like
They're
they're
okay.
Dead Ops Arcade tracks. You know, we get that same techno metal fusion kind of thing with Laughing Corpses and
that
Slasher
one's decent. They're okay.
and Twilight.
I like Twilight.
Twilight was fun.
Yeah, I really like Twilight.
Yeah.
That was the one
Twilight
Ryan
is cool.
2 track.
Yeah.
Voice in Your Head.
I really like that
I like
one.
Voice in Your Head, and I also like Zombies Don't Surf.
Yeah.
I was a fan of Zombies Don't Surf. After that, we get our last Alana Siegman track,
the biggest
which
one.
comes out of nowhere when you're listening to it on Spotify. You're just in these Dead Ops Arcade tracks, and then all of a sudden you get the fucking 115, like the fucking hard, like open.
Yeah.
This has
the
the.
drums were ridiculous.
I think the drums, like instrumentally for the Alana Siegman tracks, this is the craziest instrumental in all of them. And this is
This one was the only Black Ops one.
Black Ops track. It's on
Kino der
Kino der
Toten,
Toten. Yeah, I was trying
which
to
is the
fucking
theater
remember
map,
that.
if you remember.
It
playing
is the one that
Oh,
comes
okay.
with the game.
Yeah,
Like, you get to.
Yep.
Yep. This one's so heavy. I think this
Definitely
is
the
easily the
heaviest
heaviest track on the album,
Yeah.
and it fucking rocks. I love this one.
This is
too.
when, like, in Black Ops 1, they started getting really metal.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple ones I could think of, like Abracadabra. They aren't on this track, but Abracadabra's really freaking heavy. Pareidolia is really heavy, even though it has that soft piano ending, which I like. And then Coming Home is insane, which we'll talk about those another day.
Yeah, the song I like to think about while I was listening to it was how insanely fast the drummer would have to be moving to play it, because it was crazy.
Yeah, so what's after that?
Clockwork Squares.
Clockwork Squares.
Back
is
to
another...
more Dead Ops tracks.
Yeah, I feel like the last two tracks. I think they're doing this on purpose. I think the last two tracks kind of go into each other.
Yeah.
I noticed they have a very similar sound.
And Temple is pretty short too.
Temple,
so I feel like
think Temple is like the
definitely
last
leads
track
into that.
of the Dead Ops. That might be. I think the Temple is the last mission in Dead Ops. If I remember, I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
But after that is Undone, which is one of my favorites. I really like this ending track. It's got a really good solo right in the middle.
Mm-hmm. This one is another really good one.
And that's the Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies soundtrack.
Yeah. So, what do you guys have to say about it?
Like I said at the beginning, it is a lot. There's a lot of Dead Ops arcade tracks. Instrumentally, I think they're great. A lot of them lean a little more into the techno side, which is okay. But that's not why I'm listening to the album.
Yeah, it makes sense for the time that it came out, I guess.
And it's good for that Dead Ops arcade is supposed to be like a top-down arcade shooter, so it's supposed to have that kind of sound.
Yeah. It is a very early 2010 sound too, which hit or miss with some people, but I think a lot of these tracks are very good, and they do a good job with telling just how the game is gonna go.
Yeah.
They just handle it very well, I'd say, overall. It's not a fantastic soundtrack, but there's a lot of good shit in here, I'd say. And a lot of the stuff, even the instrumentals, I could just find myself listening to casually.
Yeah.
I was just like seeing gameplay in my head while listening
Mm-hmm.
to it. Like,
definitely.
It really puts you in that zone.
Mm-hmm. Any final thoughts from you?
No, I think I've said everything I really
Alright,
wanted to
let's
say.
go to scores then.
I'm gonna give, since I picked it, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I really like it. I think there's a lot of really great tracks. Some of the Dead Ops arcade tracks I do feel are kind of filler, which is on purpose. You gotta pad out the soundtrack because it is a game.
With that.
But I think it's great.
I'll go a little higher. I'll give it a 7.5. I like it a lot. A lot of good tracks in here. Again, you kind of have to be playing the game to make them fit even better. Yeah. But a lot of them you can listen to casually and get enjoyment out of.
I'm probably going to give it... This was my first time hearing most of these songs.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to give it like a 6 off face value.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really a genre that I would go to a lot.
Yeah, it's a video game
style
soundtrack.
That I would go to a lot, but knowing what it is...
Like techno and metal.
It did a great job of actually putting you in the right mindset for what you're doing. Just shooting a bunch of zombies and running from them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was cool. I think it was good.
Very good. So what have you got for us this week?
For some reason, the first 2 times I nominated an album, I totally forgot about something that I've been wanting to nominate. What's up? But I'm going to be nominating the latest album by The Strokes, which came out in 2020. It's called The New Abnormal.
Okay.
And it's actually very different. It's The Strokes, The New Abnormal. It's very different from the majority of their music.
Jake, what do you give the album?
But it's great.
Quick rating.
Oh, fuck. 6, 7?
Okay. Yeah.
That's
that was our range, 6, 7.
Dude, it's hard to pick.
Best Alana Siegman track.
I really like 115.
Alright.
115 or Lullaby of a Dead Man.
Yeah.
It's so hard to choose between those.
See you later, guys.
Yeah. So tune in next
cameo, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Tune in next week where we look at The Strokes.
Yeah.
Someone that you've been telling me to listen to for a very long time now.
I'm obsessed with them.